Hello, I'm Mike Boyce. I'm the chairman of the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, and it's been a while since I've had a chance to talk to you, so I thought this would be a good time, given they're almost 2 months into the pandemic, and bringing you up to date on some issues here in the county I think might be reassuring to you. I try to make an effort every single day to call about 100 people in the county. As you know, with shelter in place and still with the fact that we have to take social distancing, we cannot have the town halls and the forums we used to have, so people can't come to us. And obviously, people would be very uncomfortable if I came to you, if your house, because you want to make sure that we're taking all necessary precautions. So I've been calling people, and I do about 100 calls a day. And I just want to, it's been kind of interesting, the tone of these conversations. First of all, I'm very, very pleased to hear that our education campaign, and not just ours in the county, but everybody, because I'm sure you watch the national news and state news, about what is it you have to do to take all the necessary measures to protect your health. And I'm really glad to hear that people know what those measures are. The second thing is that they're adhering to them. They're taking them seriously. And the third thing is, which is really the good news, is that by and large, they have a sense of humor. My last question I start with, how you doing? You got plenty of food? You staying at home as much as you can? And are you tired of being sheltered in place? And usually the last question gets a little bit of a laugh. That's comforting to know that people have put this in perspective, and they know that we're in it for the long haul. They're taking it seriously, but they still have retained their sense of humor. And that usually leads into a conversation about other things going on in the county. And so it's a lot of fun. As much as I miss the town halls and the forums, this has been a great substitute for that. A number of things that I'm hearing that I just want to give you some confidence about. First of all, let's talk about the elections. As you know, the primary has been moved until June 9th. And there's no question about it, because of the requirements for social distancing, we're going to have to significantly reduce the number of polls that you can go to on June 9th to vote, and also early voting. We simply don't have the staff or the volunteers to man all 141 precincts like we've done in the past. So I would like you to go to the county webpage to look to see where those polls are. Now, why do I say that? Because there's going to be a significant reduction in number of polls, which leads to the second issue here is, should I do absentee ballots? And unfortunately, there's some information out there that might cause you to wonder whether or not it is safe to do absentee balloting in Cobb County. Well, the Board of Elections and their workers have taken over Jim Miller Park. And there are 90 tables in that new building that we built out there last year that handle all the applications coming in for absentee balloting. 90 tables. I was talking to Janine Evler last week. She said the previous day they had gotten 4,000 applications in for absentee ballots. And the reason I'm bringing these numbers up to you is it just shows you our commitment to make sure that your vote is counted. And the applications have to be processed at one of these 90 tables, put into a system, and then that triggers the absentee ballot being sent to you. And we're responsive. Janine Evelyn and her team are responsive to your concerns. There are ballot boxes that you can drop your ballots into, and those boxes are emptied every single day. If you're worried about the ballot boxes being stolen or taken, you'd have to bring a bulldozer to pull those boxes out of where they are. So I think we're taking every reasonable precaution to ensure your vote is counted. And if you want to go on June 9th and stand in line for a long time, I think that's the cost of freedom. I've done it. I'm willing to do it again. But I would encourage you that in the interest of social distancing and to make sure that you take the necessary precautions to protect yourself from the virus, I would encourage you to think about using the absentee ballot system that we've taken every single step to make sure meets your concern for the safety of your vote. And there's nothing more fundamentally important than security of your vote. And I can assure you, that when you vote in Cobb County, your vote will count. The second thing is on the parks. We now know a lot more about the parks, about the virus, and the impact of its spread. It took us about a month to come up with the data to see how the virus is spread and what we could do to mitigate it. So as you saw 2 weeks ago, we opened up some of the parks and trails here in the county because it was our belief that we had done a good enough education campaign to educate people and inform people about what measures you need to take when you go to the parks to be safe. And now we're going to open up more parks, but we won't open up all the all the venues in there because our concern is that we have to make sure that our employees are protected. I know you're seeing lots of pictures of employees at hospitals and other healthcare facilities wearing these protective gowns and gloves. Well, when one of our employees goes into a bathroom at a county park to clean that, they should be similarly protected. But we all know the challenge of finding this personal protective equipment. Every one of us, local, state, and federal levels, are trying to find the necessary resources and locations, places to buy this equipment. When we have bought all the necessary equipment that we know that when our staff goes into these facilities to clean them or operate them, they are protected just as much as our healthcare workers are, then we'll reopen all the facilities as much as we can. But we also know that the virus, all right, while still perhaps being mitigated somewhat by sunlight, will adhere to surfaces like gym equipment, outdoor equipment that the kids use. So we're trying to make sure that whatever we do, we don't do anything to endanger your health and safety. So please be patient with us a little bit longer. We're slowly opening things back up here. And in time here, we know that if we give you the necessary information, you will take the right steps to make sure that you don't endanger yourself. The last thing here, we have no idea how long we're going to be in these conditions. And we're working closely with the state to make sure that we're in compliance with what the governor's executive order is. As you know, in early March, I signed a declaration of emergency that puts certain restrictions on our movements. And I let that expire at the end of last month because I thought that having the governor's executive order and our declaration of emergency was confusing the public. We only need to have one menu for doing everything, not two. So we're going specifically directly in compliance with the governor's executive order in the spirit and the intent of them. That is our guidelines. But he's left us a lot of latitude in how to enforce that. And I've said very from day one here, we are in the words of one of our previous presidents, a kindler and gentler county. There is no sense in going and adding to the stress level of people right now, some of them who are not sure about their future, whether their jobs or whether they're going to be able to feed themselves in the future, by going and having a very strict enforcement policy on these things. We're leaving it in your hands to take the necessary actions that we believe reflect your responsible approach to this virus. We are leaving you alone to do what you think is in your best interest. Now, if there are some who are going to test the boundaries of this, and I can assure you that we have, the necessary steps in place to address those issues, but it has been a significantly very small minority of those. And once we bring to them the attention of why we're doing what we're doing, they fall in compliance. We are going to continue that approach. We're here to work with you. We're here to protect you. But we're going to do this in a way that we believe that it is you have a stake in this game. You're part of this conversation. And we believe that if we provide you the necessary facts, you will do the right thing. And we are seeing that here in Cobb County every day here. The spirit of generosity by everybody that's working toward the common good is manifestly demonstrated by so many different groups and people every day. And I just cannot be more pleased to know that we live in a county of people who have that spirit of compassion for each other. So for right now, let's continue to do the right things, all right? Social distance. Wear your mask on when you go outside. Take all the necessary precautions, and we're going to get through this. But It's going to take us a while. There is not going to be an overnight panacea for all this. We have to learn how to operate in this new environment. And I just want you to know that your county is still working every single day to make sure that this is a place where we can safely work, live, play, and pursue your dreams. Thank you, and may the Lord continue to bless all of us here in Cobb County and this great place called America.